Roman soldiers were notorious for how they treated non-citizens, especially when that non-citizen was someone who was condemned to death. Crucifixion was only part of what was a theater of shame and humiliation that they'd subject that person to. Mockery, beatings, cruel games were commonplace. And in Jerusalem, the soldiers were infamous for taking condemned prisoners, dressing them in costumes, and then moving them around a huge game board that they'd scratched into the flagstones of the Praetorium as if they were a playing piece for a board game. This is the kind of treatment that they subjected Jesus to. But it was a little different for him because he had been condemned based on the charge of claiming to be king of the Jews. That was what they would have had written down. And so Jesus would be mocked through something called the King's Game. This was reserved for people that Rome needed to hold up as an example of what happens when you challenge the authority of the Roman Empire. Executions were often treated as entertainment in the Roman Empire, and costume plays and role plays were a common part of the process. This ridiculous parody, and for the condemned, this time of humiliation without hope at all. This was just part of the execution, and the execution would follow. So in the King's Game, they would start with the investiture. The condemned was dressed in mock royal clothes. We see it in our passage. The soldiers would kneel, they would salute, they would hail him as king. Then abuse would follow, spitting, beating, further mockery. Often they'd be paraded in front of the people in these clothes, and then they'd be disrobed and executed. To the Romans, this sick game of theirs, it was just another Friday. But to Matthew and to us, this is Scripture being fulfilled.